All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is the show starting. Yeah, we're getting into it. Let's go.
Wow. Welcome back to the Sense and Sensibility podcast, where we talk about the good, the bad,
and the unnecessary products we come across every day as moderators on Steem Hunt, a Steem blockchain-based product hunting site.
I'm Dalio.
And I'm Team Humble. Let's get started.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Yeah, energies. Let's go with it.
I know. It was just like a weird one. It's a weird one, but we're here. We're here.
Just jump in. I think the case is just jump in, just get going. Like this whole perfectionist thing, this whole like sitting down, getting ready. Are you ready? Let's get into a podcast. Oh yes, we're now talking in our podcasting voices. Yeah.
Is that supposed to be me?
No, I didn't say that at all. But if you're reacting to that, then go with it, I guess.
Just want to clarify.
So welcome back, everybody. We are in episode 2 of Product Sense. This is a show about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
It's episode 3. Sorry, but it is. This is the 3rd one. Welcome to the 3rd one. Don't be mad. It's the 3rd one. I'm sorry. Hello?
Positively negative. Oh, that's not the show. We're in a different one. Okay. Product Sense episode 3 is a show about the good and the bad and the ugly of steemhunt.com, which is a website built on top of the Steem blockchain. And it's for people to submit their products and they get incentivized for doing so. And there's a little bid bot we call Bob, and he runs around every 24 hours, South Korean time, 12 o'clock, 4 p.m. GMT. And if you're a lucky person and you get lots of comments and lots of upvotes and people think your stuff is cool, your product is cool, then it gets upvoted and you get a little incentive for doing so. Whereas if you did that on Product Hunt, which has been around now for about 4 or 5 years, you get nothing.
You get zilch.
You get nada.
Nada.
You get nada. You get nothing. So, I mean, if you've ever been like, oh, blockchain, what's blockchain? Oh, what's Bitcoin? Oh, my friend is really skint and is now selling his BMW because he's spent all of his money on it. This is a really good way of you to not do that and to get into blockchain in a different way. And that is to earn Steem. And the Steem blockchain has been going around now for about 24 months. So it's not some ICO that's not going to be finished for 5 years. It's actually up, working, battle tested.
Shots fired.
And you can get into blockchain without any risk. I mean, if you like products, and who doesn't, technology, ideally, you can have a look at our guidelines. We have some guidelines. You can be on it. So, yeah. Great. How's your week been on Steem Hunt this week?
My week's been great. I think there's been a lot of, I'm a little bit partial because I like certain types of hunts, but I think I've seen the quality go up a lot. I think we're in like a little bit of a season of concepts, but a lot of those concepts are really, really cool ideas. And I like seeing that stuff. I remember when I was a kid, my parents took us, we did like the Disneyland vacation that American families do. We probably did it twice in my life, but I remember so vividly as a really small kid, like maybe 6 or 7, being in Epcot and seeing like the world of tomorrow. Wow. And then you'd go in and like, you'd see all the concept cars. And I was like obsessed. Like if you asked little Dale what I wanted to be when I grew up, I wanted to be an inventor. So this is making me feel like excited about the products because we're seeing a lot of concepts, a lot of inventions about things that
you're mystical though, right? It's because you're mystical though. You're very much that
possibilities. Like I feel like depressed when I feel like.
So you're a possibilitarian.
Yeah, I'm a Pisces. Piscabilities.
Pisces Picalians.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. But
you're in the next film from Marvel. Is that what you're saying?
Oh my God. We weren't supposed to tell anybody. Oh no. My NDA is screwed.
That's it. That's it now. It's out.
Marvel's going to come after me.
That's right.
But yeah, I felt like it was a good week on Steem Hunt. I mean, you'll have like the little frustrations here and there, but how did you feel about it?
Yeah, I like concepts. Don't get me wrong. I like seeing all that kind of future facing stuff, but I kind of feel, I don't know, maybe I've just got older and I'm more grounded. I kind of like enough already. I was reading these in books like Jetsons when I was a kid. Yeah. I want the hoverboard. I want the hover car. Like now, the time's now.
Meet Phil Campbell.
The future's now. Like, I want it today. I want it today. I don't want to wait now and be like, oh, the concept in 2021 from BMW is everything we could get our concept designer to rustle up on a Friday while he had a couple of vodka shots. Like, I get it. I get it. The technology's there, everything, but you haven't built it. You haven't got the sign off, and you're waiting for at least 20 of your board to die.
Well, nobody's
going to sign off on it yet.
You have to push the edges, though, because if you think of something like wildly out of control crazy as a concept, if 10% of that makes it to something that ends up in our everyday life, then it's important to push the boundaries of that stuff, I think.
Yeah, but people are pushing the boundaries in the wrong ways. A lot
pushing
of these
drones.
Yeah, well, there is that. Don't get me started on drones. You asked me my good moments this week. Let's not get onto drones. So the concept things are good. Yes, they have to push at the boundaries of it, but it tends to be like, we did this, well, we've done that. We've done this, we've done that. Like, that's great. And I understand you're like pushing for brand dominance, that your electric vehicle is going to be better than others. You know, take somebody like Elon. Elon's like, we're making a car. Here's the open source plans for it, so you can catch up. Because from Elon's headspace, he's like, to verify and validate this what is seen as a niche, really, to have an electric car. It's a big change to get people to like finally get into electric cars. And I believe I read some data the other day. We're on the road from 4 million to 5 million electric cars on the road globally. That's huge from where we were like 3 or 4 years ago. So it's validated now, and now everybody's scrambling to get their electric car.
What's your beef with concepts? Just that they don't happen, or they don't happen the way you expect them to, or like, I feel like that's kind of part of the headspace you have to be in with concepts.
It's very close to fashion to me.
Yes, I was just thinking that, like, high-end runway fashion. Ain't nobody going to wear that.
Right. It's very close to fashion to me. It's like, yeah, I get it. It's cool. It's sassy. You know, the illusion, you know, painting a idea of what future is to you, looks very different at 2 a.m. when you've got to have it done for 9 a.m. meeting.
Telling you.
And a lot of those concepts do not look practical. They're cool, but are they practical? No, that steering wheel is god awful. The VW Beetle, the new one, is gorgeous.
I like it.
Hang on. It's a gorgeous looking thing, but inside it's plasticky. It's white. Yeah. It's not. This illusion that future is going to be designed and we're going to have to fit in around it. I am not going to wear something that makes me look like every fucker else. I'm not. It's not happening. Your idea of future is this concept 3D model that's out of date by 20 years and like sitting on a park bench.
Well, that's the thing. And like, I think the things that look good, quote unquote, on paper, and the new on paper is in the 3D render on your computer screen. Like, that concept of the interior of that Volkswagen is a perfect example of something that looks awesome in photos and in mock-ups and in presentations. And then when you sit in it, you're like, where's the rest of the car?
But the thing is, it's way bigger than that, right? Because we like that stuff. Because we had a program on television here called Tomorrow's World. I don't know if you had the same thing. It was called Tomorrow's World over there, but we had the thing called Tomorrow's World, which I loved. It was a program I was like, oh yeah, tell me about tomorrow, because today sucks. I'm at school. I hate it. Like, tell me about Tomorrow's World. Tell me about these like anti-grav systems that we're going to like float up onto, you know, platforms and live above the sea and all that. Like, that to me is like that kind of future thinking makes me think that you can achieve anything in the world. Right? Okay. The stuff that we've got now, the stuff that we've got at the minute is woven together with PR and spin and marketing and social media. And it's actually almost like the guy behind the curtain on The Wizard of Oz. It's like, you know, we're building an e-bike and it's going to look like this. And it's like, oh yeah, it looks the part.
But that's because you've seen behind the curtain as you've gotten older, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But that's not just an age thing. It's not just an age thing. I've used a lot of the stuff that they said was the future was actually, we didn't quite get there because the technology wasn't right. Mm-hmm. I've got a big beef about the fact that what we're really paying for as consumers is R&D. We're paying for research and development of somebody's brain fart on a Friday, right? The battery technology might not be caught up yet. Like, take electric bikes, right? When they first come out, I bought one. I was like, yes, this is going to be awesome. Spoke to the guy in the shop. He says the frame is brilliant. The rest of it, bullshit, right? So he had to get all parts from America and all parts from England. And because he was a bike person who ran a bike shop for like 30 or 40 years and repaired bikes, he knew which parts to replace. So he ended up like making a better bike because he had a skill to make a bike. Whereas a lot of these companies are just like, oh, we've heard of this great electric battery technology, and Tesla's got a controller and there's open source documents, and just throw it together and render something and make it look Mercedes, like, or Ferrari or whatever. None of these things are tested. None of these things are road, like the.
Yeah, but isn't that the R&D that you're complaining about paying for? Like,
no, but we're paying for the R&D. We're paying for the R&D of something that's not quite the future yet. That's what I'm getting at. Right. We're paying for now, but we're pretending it's our future. That's what I can't deal with.
All right.
That's what I can't deal with. It's like when I see those mock-ups, I'm like, yeah, but it's not been road tested. And okay, somebody's got to do that. And some of the early adopters of the electric cars of today are doing that. I'll give you a perfect example, right? The Nissan Leaf. Nissan Leaf came out.
Right.
The Nissan Leaf came out. Everybody loves the Nissan Leaf. Apart from the look of it, it looks like dog shit, but that's okay, right? They brought out a second generation one with a 40 kilowatt motor on it, which overheats. This is an electric car, and you're supposed to be able to, it's supposed to get more range out of it and a bigger battery pack. And you would have thought they would have learned something from the first one.
Right. And you're also Nissan. Like you're not some startup guy from a garage. You're Nissan. Like, get it together.
Yeah, but most of the time they're hiring people. That's my point.
Right,
most of the time they're hiring people, because nobody in Nissan like is fucking with that shit. Nobody invented it. Like, they might have like invented some parts or some software to work with the systems they've got, but everybody's hacking somebody else's stuff right now. Like, everybody's throwing this stuff together because they want it. That's what our future was told. So for me, I'm always like, yeah, I want that concept, but to go from today and the look of it, we are so programmed by stories and the short attention spans that we have, that a punchy 2-minute Mercedes video with blue neon lights and silent running and a great U2 soundtrack, we're like, oh yeah, like, what you're really doing is you're buying into a lifestyle of what you wish your life was like in the future.
I'll concede to some of that. Like, yes, I agree on the adult level.
I want to be seen in my electric car when it becomes cool, but that's the problem you have as well.
I have enthusiasm for things that I'd never buy in a million years, because it's almost like when you bring it back to fashion, there are people who just appreciate that on almost like a hobbyist level. Like, I would never buy, some of the things that I upvote on Steam Hunt, but the fact that it's out there, the fact that it's pushing the next iteration of something, the fact that there might be a little kid.
Who pays for that?
Who pays for it? Well, that's also the problem. Yes, I agree. But what I'm saying in terms of my enthusiasm is not because I want to see myself in, and I can just picture myself taking Instagram pictures of this and posting it and being famous.
Some people do. You can't say they don't.
I agree. But I'm talking from my personal experience. The next little kid, Elon Musk, needs something to be like fired up about and excited about. And I think the pushing those boundaries is important.
You just hit the nail on the head. When I was a kid and saw the Jetsons and saw that, it was like, I didn't care if it was sustainable. I didn't care if you'd gone through 20 iterations to get it. I want it. Yes. I want that life. I want that future. Future looks better than today. And it makes me want to wake up for tomorrow. Right. That future world that I want to head towards, it looks organized. It looks clean. It looks efficient. But you know what? We have to make those things that way.
I agree.
None of these companies are going to deliver that for us.
I agree. Well, also, if you think about the Jetsons, like, remember where they lived? They lived in those above the cloud houses. So my personal hypothesis is that the Earth by then is just screwed. And they're like, all right, let's just keep building above the smog. Do you remember how the houses were like above in the clouds? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just saying. Maybe
I also remembered those spaceships had their sound to them. I'm telling you now, if I live in the future, I want my thing to sound of nothing. I don't want to just
I want to travel around with tubes. Remember that? Remember how George Jetson used to get to work?
That's safe, isn't it? That's safe.
Imagine he gained like a couple pounds over Thanksgiving, and it's like, I'm stuck in the tube. Not just pour some canola oil down here.
I'm gonna be. That's exactly my point. You couldn't have said it better.
Stuck in the tube again.
We are the R&D for the tubes. Like, everything.
It's true. I think
in the tubes,
I think it's important to have a 360 view about concepts. Yes, get excited, but yes, understand that like things have to be mined out of the earth in order to make the materials for this stuff. Like, I get it. But
it's also the trigger points as well, right? The reason why people hunt concept stuff or things that are expensive is it has an air of exclusivity about it, right? So, and there's something very much in our human DNA which like just runs towards it. Like everybody, you could park a Ferrari up and everybody would have a different opinion of why that car was quality. It might be from the Ferrari red, you know, it signifies like richness, legacy, history, machinery. Like everybody would have probably, there'll be a lot of people who had the same opinion, but there'll be a lot of different opinions as to why that brand, that company stands out so much. Same as McDonald's in some ways. You know, like everybody has an opinion of it. They have an opinion of themselves with a big sign up that says billions and billions served, which scares the shit out of me every time I go past.
They're not in the billions yet, are they?
Yeah, billions and billions served. It says on the side of it. It's like some kind of like double tap zombie movie.
Burger coin. Right.
No, I love concepts. Don't get me wrong. I do. I love the idea of where, especially when I can add it all up.
Well, when it's like an eco
yes,
hunt,
that exists.
It feels like, okay, maybe if like the more that this stuff becomes commonplace, the more that these ideas become commonplace, then at least we're having a conversation. Like we're kind of still at the place where not everybody is even on board that there is a problem with the environment. So I think the more that the ecological type, this solves this problem, this solves this problem, it kind of brings it down to like a very cause and effect day-to-day thing for people, instead of being like, yeah, well, you know, down the road we're going to have an issue. Nobody cares about that. So I think the concepts are kind of like the physical manifestation of the argument of like, hey, we have a problem and here's the solution. It's almost like it's like building the hammer before you have to build the house. So the more hammers you have around, then you're like, okay, I'm getting to the idea of this.
But don't you think that nowadays, more than any time in history, and I mean this like any time in history, can you remember any other time where your identity was so closely linked to your products?
Right.
Sure. So what I mean by that is that we live in a ever fast day-to-day digital world, social world, you know, media heavy world, media rich. Information is super, super fast. We get updates all the time.
Right. It's like your stuff is your
obvious
content.
Right. There's people who are into Google Home over Alexa even. Do you know what I mean?
I'm team Android. I'm team iPhone. I'm you know, whatever. Right.
And I wouldn't say any of those people are necessarily interested in the concepts of any of those companies, because pretty much everything they build is out soon anyway. Like they keep the story going. New update, new this, do this, They keep the story going through all the other channels that they pump money into, and then boom, it's like here's Pixel version 3.
That's kind of like an interesting point because of different industries. Like the technology industry is so there's like so much espionage, and it's such a game of like millimeters in terms of innovation of these companies trying to edge each other out, where they're not going to post, they're never going to post like, oh, this is the phone we're thinking about in 5 years. Like, no shot. You know, Apple's never going to post anything like that. If something gets linked or somebody leaves a concept phone in an Uber, it's like world headline news for weeks. But then you have an industry like the automotive industry where BMW's like, oh, hey, check out this car. We're just screwing around with it. Like, we're just trying to make it cool. So, you know, you definitely have like different forms of concepts in different industries as well. Just because
I think a lot of the time, the car makers, especially with the amount of money that they've made, with the whole setup of the way that their industry works, I think not having a concept car at an event is like not having a social media account.
Yeah,
right?
they have to compete with themselves more than each other, you know? Absolutely.
100%. Well, because a brand in an automotive thing, like you go back to the old Ford days, and you know, like I think it was the Model T or T Ford or whatever the hell it was, or one of the first ones. You'll see this lineage of design and, you know, forward thinking. You could say in some ways a lot of those were trying to future. I mean, they went from carts with horses, for God's sake, to cars with a pap horn. and you're like, what the fuck is that thing? That was, I mean, if I was on a horse, I'd be like, damn, that guy's styling. He's living in the future right there. He's got like no horses and he's got horses. Like, what's that about? So I think it's interesting because I think we've moved into that arena where even if you don't have a product, everything can be concept as long as you've got a good story and you can sell it and you can pitch it and you can manipulate it, visualize it and augment it and create a augmented reality version of what you might feel like in it. That's enough. That's enough.
Right.
People are just like, yeah, I buy that because, I've watched sci-fi for the last 25 years. I buy that. But then it doesn't turn up. Where's my fucking hover bike?
Well,
Where's
or the
not seen it.
That your bad pick that one week where it was like the battery only lasts 15 minutes. It takes 6 hours to charge.
Can you imagine?
Like, no, this is not the future they promised me.
You see, if you want a future concept of what my daughter's face is going to look like after 15 minutes, I can totally draw that for you. Not a problem.
Well, okay, so
the regret. Yeah.
We should probably get into just really quick, probably just want to mention we had some UI changes on the site this week. So there is now a little shuffle button. It's like a little, you'll see it looks almost like a recycling logo, has 2 arrows, and you can just kind of like shuffle that. That's kind of fun. Like you can almost play hunt roulette if you just want to mix up what you're seeing and you're looking for things to upvote instead of just scrolling for eternity. You have a little shuffle button, and then we have that new little recent section. So there's a lot of people have different opinions about that, but the intent behind it, and I'm sure it's going to be iterated more, is just to give more exposure to some of the hunts that get posted later in the day, because we want to make it fair for everybody. And, because if people are in all different time zones, not everybody is awake to post exactly at refresh time. So that's really all I know. We're just mods. We don't get like the official word, but I think that is the intent behind that. So just be patient. If you see a UI or change or anything different, like it's okay. It's all right. Just chill out. Like there's going to be changes and iterations. There are going to be little tweaks. Changes. Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm a little annoyed. I'm a little annoyed by that button because it's a couple of pixels out and it triggers
I know it's not centered,
my OCD. Right? My OCD is like, oh, come on, move the pixels, man, move the pixels. I
had my face 2 inches from the screen this morning because I thought it was me. I thought my eye was playing tricks on me.
It's a cool little thing. One thing I will say about the team, especially Tabros, if you want concepts, those guys are already like a couple of steps ahead with things that they're going to roll out, and I know there's some big stuff coming down the pipe for the platform. That's for sure. And that's going to be interesting because I think some of it will really concrete the thinking for the other verticals. And by verticals, I mean the other applications that Steam Hunt wants to build out, like take what they've got here and then do it for a different market. So for like eco or ideas or crowdfunding, there's going to be a whole ecosystem that runs around the hunt tokens. I really don't think I think there's a lot of people who understand it, and I'm not surprised at the amount of people that haven't come in yet because they're too busy with their own communities, their own ideas, their own, projects. But I am surprised that people haven't looked at that blog post on the Steam Hunt blog and realized how rich and big that ecosystem is going to be.
Right.
Because it's definitely going to be an area where product companies move into, because they're going to get fed up with the YouTube influencers. The YouTube influencers are going to get old. They're going to get annoyed that they can't swear, say things.
Smash that subscribe button, fam. Oh my God.
Exactly. All of that. So I think companies are going to be looking for a solution like that. And it's not going to be Ethereum and it's not going to be Bitcoin. So it's going to be some kind of like Steam or Byteball or something.
Any blockchains with fast transaction speeds that have been battle tested for over 2 years with a healthy user base and constant activity?
That sounds like the advert for that future concept video. Do you know of a Steam blockchain that operates at 3 seconds worldwide?
Bring me a dream.
With no transaction fees?
Oh my gosh, anyway. We need to make like a black and white advert something. We have too many projects. Forget I said that.
Yeah, no, forget it.
All right, let's talk about mod beefs because I'm angry.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
I'm not angry, but I'm annoyed.
We have 3 mod beefs. Go for it.
I got 3 beefs for you today. And even if you're vegan, you're going to have this beef.
Oh,
All right. Can we just not go through an entire catalog from one brand? Can we not do that though? Can we just not?
Yeah.
Can we not just see like, okay, Sony A4621 got approved. Okay, tomorrow Sony A4623, A4624, A4625. Like, hunt things that you think are cool, please. Just hunt things that you think are cool, not like technical, slightly different iterations or something with a different paint job, or like it's becoming very clear that there are certain, I don't know why certain people pick certain brands over another, but they'll just like get approved on one and then we'll just go through the entire product list. And like, that's fine. We'll run out of products eventually, but it just doesn't make for interesting hunts for people to want to upvote.
Also, people say, I don't know why my hunt's not doing very well. You know, my numbers are going down, but I'm putting hunts up and they're getting verified. Yeah, that's great that you're doing part of the solution. But the person, if I voted on your Sony headphones yesterday, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to vote them today because I've got a pair of headphones, fam.
Yeah.
Good. I don't need that many headphones on my body. But also, people have got to realize that Steam Hunt is not a link farm. We're not trying to build a farm full of links. We're not trying to build a website with 8 million, a database of links on there just to have every link, because I'm pretty sure that those headphones from Sony have been reviewed on 100,000 websites since they came out like 4 years ago, whichever it was. So yeah, that drives me crazy, but like I can't do anything about it because we don't necessarily we used to have rules where we could make a decision if it was old or new or whatever, and people got pissy about it. So
yeah,
we relaxed the rules and made it a little bit easier. I think it's the difference between using a product, owning a product, loving a product. Some products that you buy in life, they intrinsically become part of your character. Like intrinsically, people know you, remember you for wearing a certain kind of headphones. Like if you wear Beats headphones, I'll probably never talk to you. But if you're wearing Audio Tech, if you're wearing,
all right, never mind.
But if you're wearing Audio Technicas, then maybe I'll be talking to you. You were about to say, yeah, but you bought your daughter some, right?
I didn't say a damn thing.
I bought my daughter some because how do you break it to not one child, but a whole squad of them that their headphones are shit?
You're getting Audio Technicas, kids.
I ain't buying my 11-year-old Audio Technica. She has no idea about quality yet. And that's the point about the concept stuff.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're not educated. We're paying for the R&D. That's where we're at.
Well,
all right, next beef. Go for it.
Next beef. Also, just delete. This is not a beef. This is a section A, point B214 of beef 1. Just delete Swagatron from your history. I don't want to see any more Swagatron links. I'm done.
Oh, I hate the idea of meeting that guy at a bar and he gives me his card with Swagatron.
He's John Ralphio from Parks and Rec. Like he's 1,000% that guy. Anyway,
but you know the card's going to be cut out like Swagatron. It's going to have like bits missing where the letters are.
The card's going to be $32 each, and it's going to be like die cut steel.
Doesn't fit in the wallet. Got a holographic version of him inside. Yeah.
All right, beef number 2. Do not ask questions that you know we don't know the answer to. This kind of goes into what we mentioned earlier with the interface. Like, maybe it's not clear what mods do. Mods are there to look at your post and say, did it meet these criteria? Did you not plagiarize? Is the link okay? Does this fit under the products we're looking for? That's all we do. When people come into Discord and they're like asking about, why does the UI look different today? Or why do we have that button for? There's nobody who can help you because the people who are there are community members and moderators. Moderators just deal with what posts that are being posted every day. It might seem like there's an exclusive club. We really don't know the answer to like a lot of like, dev questions. If you have a dev issue, I think is the GitHub still open to like put suggestions?
GitHub there's the announce channel. Yeah.
But like
I've actually got a solution for that. I was going to talk about it. I'm going to put it on my blog post, but I've been thinking about it in terms of doing a kind of weekly Q&A FAQ live stream.
Yeah.
So maybe fire something up on DLive and just literally take people's questions live from Discord and just approach a few of them and try and get them answers. And if we don't get them answers for in time, like you're saying, like we don't know, then we'll try and get the information as a big document. You got to remember, the more times we take Tabris and Project 7 off what they're trying to realize here, the longer it takes to do. Right. So if we can format that in such a way where it's like there's 10 questions and people want feedback on that, we can feed it back to you from either the podcast or from a live thing that we do each week. So it is being thought about.
Yeah. But just as mods know that like we don't have any insane secrets that you don't know about. When things get dropped, we check the announcement channel.
We literally get it at the same time as you. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So, and the last, that's actually the same thing. Just be mindful if you have a question and it doesn't have to do with something that's like hyper specific to you or your post, just check FAQ first in Discord. And if you're not in Discord, just come hang out with us because it's fun. And I think you'll like it there. And we got some cool folks hanging out in there on a daily basis. But we have an FAQ channel. And for there are questions that are asked all the time. And there's a good chance that your question is not the first time somebody's asked it. So just check FAQ quick, just real quick. It's not even that long, but there's a couple things in there. And the people who write in FAQ have done a really good job of like summarizing certain frequently asked questions, because that's why it's a FAQ, because they frequent. And just check that first before you ask, because we get a lot of questions.
As well, can't you? You can like search on the keyword and just see if you can see anything in the whole Discord.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it. The beefs weren't that bad this week. I don't think they were like.
No, don't do that thing where you just tag the name and not put any message either. That drives me batty to the point that I just block people in the end and then just like reveal the block at some point. Because then if I block you, I don't get a notification, because don't just put my name with a space after it. Like, because
that's like
click
you're
away.
getting.
It's not like that.
Right. That's like the equivalent of if you were at a bar with a bunch of different people, someone just like tugging on your shirt just in the middle of what you're doing. Like, it takes you away, especially if you're modding, it takes you away from modding. You get a notification. It's like alarm bells go off. For us old folks, like it wrecks my concentration anyway. So just chill. You don't need to do the whole tag situation.
Do we were supposed to have 2 other mods on this week. What's the situation with that? Are they going to record anything? Or did you not get through to them?
No, I have confirmations from two different individuals. Do you want to announce them? If they'd want to do it, they're ready to go. And I sent them like just a template to fill out of what we need from them. And they're going to come back with some recordings for us, but I don't have any.
All right. I thought we were going to have them in the show so we can use them as click on the sample and listen back to it. We mute ourselves. So they've not.
We just don't have the recordings yet. No, we just don't have the recording.
Oh, we're going to put them in afterwards, are we? How's that going to work?
No, we can just. We don't. I'm saying we don't have the recordings. We can do it next week if you want to do it like live.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. I just don't have any this week.
Yeah, because the problem with the live thing, I realized, is that they would have had to sit inside of this channel up to now, muted for 33 minutes, which is like, who's going to do that?
Exactly.
It's super annoying.
So I think we will have
might as well record
to slow release. Yeah. Do those for the next week, but they're gonna be good. I got confirmations that they're both down to do the recordings.
And that was Chrono, right? Chrono, Crypto, and Urban Gladiator, right?
Yeah.
So we'll hopefully get them on at some point as either a little sample or get them in full time as not full time, but you know what I mean, like in it live,
real time. Yeah.
Real time. That's what I'm
Yeah. No, I think the sample idea is going to work. I just need the files to send to you so you can pop those in DJ style. Okay.
Yeah.
So then that actually just brings us to our good and the bad and the strange of the week.
Yeah, I don't have a strange this week. So
I have a strange one. Okay. That's okay. Well, let me start with mine. I'll get it out of the way.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool.
For real.
My strange one. I had this one like sitting waiting. It's called Ginger. And I don't know if you saw this maybe in your travels through the week, but it's this little it looks like an egg. It's a little plastic device. It looks like an egg that's got these 2 prongs in it, almost like an electric plug. If you live in the States, it looks like the US one.
I'm bringing it up.
It got a little button on it and it has a wire coming out of it. And basically you stick these 2 prongs into a vegetable and it reads the electromagnetic field of that vegetable, which every fruit and vegetable has a different signature, almost like a fingerprint of their electromagnetic field. And it essentially turns that vegetable into an instrument. And it's so weird. You just have to see it. It's called Ginger. I believe it got passed on Steam Hunt, so if you want to look for it, it's there. But you actually have somebody. It almost kind of gives off sounds like a what's that? What's that instrument that was like the Star Trek
The
thing?
theremin.
Theremin. Yeah, exactly. The Star Trek. It sounds like that, but it's actually yeah. But you can play like a carrot, some celery, maybe a leek or a squash, and people are literally like holding these vegetables and playing them like guitars because of this thing that's picking up a signal from the electromagnetic wave of the vegetables.
Sounds like climate change.
I mean, if it maybe that means that you have unlimited instruments that don't have to be mass produced, and you can just get them from your garden and then eat them. I don't know.
Yeah, if I want an instrument that sounds like everything the same, my carrots and I want to bring up my children to know that everything sounds like an 8-bit Commodore 64 sample. Yeah, brilliant idea.
Well, that's why it's the strange one and not the good one, but it kind of...
Where are they based? LA? Where are they based? LA?
No, there's a lot of non-English on this website. I believe... but I can't
Uzbekistan?
distinguish. No. It's I think it's Chinese. I would have to say China if I had to take a guess. It's definitely not Korean characters, but I'm not sure if it's China or... Yeah, no, it's actually Japanese. My bad. It's Japanese. So that's what they're doing in Japan. They're making things out of fruit.
Hey, listen, I can't knock the Japanese.
Right?
Like, out of all the people in the world to come up with something stupid and strange, I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. If it had come from Austria,
I'd be like, that changes for you. Like you like Japan. That's kind of in your wheelhouse. That's all you.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing you get used. That's where the legacy comes from. Like Switzerland, chocolate clocks. I'm down with that. But if you start making like audible fruit, get out of it. Austria, I'm not interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just not.
That's fair.
I'm just not.
That's fair. All right, go ahead. Hit me with something.
This week, my good one that I really liked was, I don't know if we should be mentioning their names. People will work it out anyway. Is a thing called the Everything. I know it's a bit of a weird one, but it's really an innovative design, which I really liked because it was practical. I'm very much about practical, right? So Everything table, simple, multifunctional table. So first of all, really, really lightweight design, very crafted, engineered for a certain kind of clientele, i.e. hipsters with money, and really well designed and thought about in terms of multifunctional for people like transitioning from maybe being a student to like coupling up to, maybe having parties or family or whatever around. And it's just like a table, but it's a really nicely styled table where the middle section, you can just have it like an ornamental table, or you can fill the damn thing with ice and put all your beer in it. You can fill it with like the popcorn. Like, what I like about it is it's got 6 or 7 different uses. And I think I really like that about Steam Hunt is that I would never normally look at a table like that. I'd probably look at it, look at the label. Oh God, that's too expensive. But because it was put in a website with loads of other products, I went through the products and, the photos really stood out to me. And that makes a big difference for me. Like a website that is somebody's labored over and they've been like, I need a table to do this, and there's no table that exists. That to me is true innovative design in terms of I want it to be stylish, I want it to not get in the way, but I also want it to do more than one thing, just sitting there like an occasional table. This thing can be like multiple things, and it's that feels like future to me. I can't ever imagine in the 40s or 50s that it would be cool to have a ornamental table that you could take the top off and fill it full of ice and have your beer in it. Right. So that feels like the future to me.
Right.
The fact that somebody's thinking about the fact that, hey, you might want to just like let it rip and take all the stuff off the top of it and fill it with popcorn or whatever. Like, I know that sounds like not the most amazing thing in the universe, but
if you're small, if you're short on space, something like that makes a big difference in your quality of life. You know what I mean?
Short on space, but also I think the products that you buy change your thinking about other products. So it's, like you show a kid, I saw it in a TED talk, I can't remember which one it was, but like you show a kid a watch today, they'll look at it and go, all right, what else does it do? Like if you have like a Casio watch from the 70s or 80s, it's a single function device, right? And yet they're like, well, I can talk to mine. I can like have music.
Can I play
track my
Fortnite
health
on
and
it
everything.
or not?
So like, I think technology that is multifunctional really, really appeals to me because it sets a precedent. If you're using those things in and out every day, it's like, oh, I wish that, like we went from just settees to, lazy boys. It just inspires you to look at products in a different light instead of just like single function or just accumulating three things to do one thing. I think that's why QVC did so well with their shopping channel. But yeah, that's my good of the week.
Awesome. Okay. Well, my good of the week is this. It's called. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. If I'm honest, I think it's called
LD Fire.
Yeah, LD or Elide. It's basically this. It's a ball, maybe about the size of like a grapefruit, and it has a coating that reacts to fire. So you can actually chuck this thing into a fire, and after the outside coating of it melts away, there's a chemical reaction that goes down, and it just kind of like explodes this fire retardant powder. So there's like videos and GIFs of people just like chucking it into burning buildings, and then it's just like poof, and then it's gone. So it's awesome because I don't think anything will replace like fire hydrants and fire trucks and things like that. But if you have one of these on your person with you, they're extremely people aren't going to just like carrying around a fire extinguisher. They don't just have that. But in places that are experiencing wars, or there are a lot of wildfires that are popping up literally everywhere, to have one of these. I mean, you could just have one of these like in your car or with you wherever you go, and chuck it into a space, and it's kind of like this instant like explosion. It's not like a harsh explosion, but it just kind of like poofs this powder everywhere.
I love the idea. I love the idea of it. I love the idea that it's a chemical reaction on the outside of it that makes it like trigger the inside, and just I've seen something similar with like seed grenades that look like grenades, but actually you just throw them in a field and they just break apart with seeds.
Yeah.
So like any stuff like that really appeals to me, especially ball shaped as well. Like just that feels natural.
Right.
Like, cob it in there instead of standing there, like pumping the thing and pressing the end of the thing and like, I don't know what I'm doing. A ball is kind of native, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's kind of like, I know to throw it
right.
into where the problem is.
Right. And then I saw some really clever like hangers for it, where you could actually just have it in your office instead of like, if your office isn't outfitted with a sprinkler system, or your home doesn't have like an automatic sprinkler system, you'd literally just have this in the corner, and in the event of a fire, this thing would just react and automatically, it's installed in the home as well as being like a mobile solution. So I was like, that's just like a no-brainer, super cool. Like you said, it's like a grenade that you throw, and that could save somebody's life. So I was into that hunt for sure.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Dig it.
Yeah. Tell me about your bad one.
Ooh,
Trigger time.
This one's rough. This one's rough. Like there's so many factors to this that like,
let's talk about it.
This is one of those future things where people are like, somebody's got super excited and got really pissed and just told their mate, and their mate's gone, yeah, whatever, mate. And then they've gone and put it on Indiegogo the next day. This one's called the Sky Grid. I don't know if you want to load it up, but I'm gonna rip this apart and tell you why this is advertising and marketing over the top of like. So first of all, this Sky Grid, the mistake they do is they show a monitor with Windows running on it, right? Which is a bit of a no-no for me straight away, because I'm like, this thing's never going to be realized. Then the fact of the matter is that two people have backed this, and they've put $1,150 on it, and they want $750,000.
You got a grant. You got to start
make this world's they're going to make this world's fastest desktop computer, right? So I'm going to quickly tell you, if you've got a great idea, this is the perfect Indiegogo not to do. Because if you follow this down, the reason why people have not backed this is, even though it sounds like it could be great, and that's a great concept kind of like headspace, right? Sky Grid, world's fastest desktop computer. Yeah, I want that. Apart from their subtitle is, we built the fastest desktop computer that never needs upgrading. It works through a single wire, right? So the first overview, it says SkyGrid is the world's fastest desktop computer, and it doesn't have any computer parts, no processor, no memory, no hard drive, no graphics card. SkyGrid gets faster over time. And then it says at the bottom, all you need is one cable. Not strictly true, is it really? Because you still need some kind of terminal and keyboard and mouse to connect to it. So instantly, most people are like, you've confused me.
Right.
Like, it sounds great, and it sounds like a computer in the cloud, which IBM have been talking about since the 70s and 80s. But you've kind of just spent your money on a 3D render of a screen and a wireless mouse and a wireless keyboard and what looks like no power connection into the computer. So there's a lot of don't knows for me already.
So,
right?
Okay. So how does it work?
So,
like, it's like we built the car
that's the
and
problem.
It doesn't have wheels. It's like, what is lead?
That's my whole point. That's my whole point. That's my whole point. All of this is so confusing that there's no rational. Basically, what people are selling here is a terminal to a service that doesn't exist.
Don't understand the vision
about SkyGrid. SkyGrid will run any software that is or ever will be available on maximum settings. It will never lag or slow down ever.
Whoa.
SkyGrid features no Wi-Fi. Well, that's weird because I'm used to having Wi-Fi. So how does that
feature
work? Virtually unlimited power, uses only 30 watts. No, the screen. See, you've got two sides of an equation here, and they've kind of told me that I only need one wire, whereas I actually need this computer system that they're on about. Get a monitor, get a 27-inch SkyGrid, which I presume is a screen, a dumb terminal, and I connect to a remote cloud service. So this is the reason why nobody's giving them any money. But also the second reason is nobody's going to give you £750,000 for an excited
for a computer with no Wi-Fi.
An excited, it's just bizarre to me. It is the bizarrest thing I think I've seen.
I'm just scrolling through this like Indiegogo. Wild. It is wild.
I just feel bad for, why would you, wireless and rechargeable, beautiful touch design. It's a mock-up. It's a concept. It doesn't exist. Right. And what they do is they go the opposite way straight away. Look, this is the Apple mouse with a design flaw on it that you have to charge it underneath. Okay, I kind of dig that, but if you're trying to make enemies at that stage with Apple, who is the biggest and the first $1 trillion company in the world, you're doing yourself a disservice because you've confused me, and then you've tried to intimidate another company, and then you've also then shown it says. However, our servers you choose, your operating system, it can be Linux or Windows or Linux. Yeah, at the top it says it can run any software, anytime, forever. So there's a lot. So there's just so many errors in this.
Right. It
just shows you that sometimes when you come up with an idea and a concept and this big thinking idea, I kind of get where they were going at. Like it's expensive to keep upgrading your hardware and it uses a lot of power and yada yada yada. But the big part they're missing is that you still have to be connected to it. Right? You have to be connected to it. So you're going to need an internet account. It's not just that buy this computer and you're going to connect to it. You need a telephone connection. You need a decent internet connection to be able to stream effectively your remote computer to this computer. And this whole idea of no more need to back up, no system crashes or blue screens. So those are all lies. Those are all lies.
It sounds like the takeaway here is that, something like this seems like it preys on people who don't understand. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not the person they're after here. It's like your parents, your grandparents, the people who are like, okay, well, if it's possible.
But I think that's where we got to go next. We need to have ethics when it comes to crowdfunding as well.
Right.
Because there's no ethics in it. I don't think Indiegogo should allow this.
Right.
Personally.
Well, yeah.
I really don't, because there's just so many. I think there needs to be a team of people. It's almost like, oh, nah, you're not going to make it, so we're not bothered.
Right. And also,
but then the damage is all.
Right. No, I'm just thinking a way to think about it. If you're not somebody who's a tech savvy person and you land on this and you don't have the knowledge that somebody else might have of seeing these red flags, think about it this way. If all of these claims were true, if there was a computer that could run every software from the end of time and it got faster the more you used it or whatever, don't you think that It'd be everywhere on the news, and Gadget would be talking about it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very difficult for me to believe when something is too good to be true in the tech space. Like, it usually is, because don't you think that like Apple or one of these massive companies would have already been like all over this if this was actually a thing? Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's already
like
companies out there that are doing cloud. Yeah, there's already companies over there that do cloud services like virtualization of games. There's one that I've seen recently that I'm like, oh, I should be able to play Fortnite if I connect to it. My machine's not good enough, but I can stream the game from a computer running Fortnite, which is top class, top level, top graphics, and I'm just streaming it from my machine. Like the input lag, that's what they've been working on with the software, is to make it so the keyboard and mouse has no input lag. Like that's the golden goose, if you like. That's the grand thing that people are trying to do, is to build the fastest encrypted algorithm that, like, as if the machine is here. And then it really opens doors then, because if you've got 5G and it's super, super fast and we have no latency anymore and we have broadband or fiber absolutely everywhere, and the whole idea of lag is eliminated and it's like a TV set, then it becomes about less having owning stuff. That's what we're moving away from, right? We're not owning cars, we're not going to own houses, we're on the move a lot. We've gone from desktop machines where I can only log in on my home machine to get my email, because that's where my email is, to having email in the cloud and we can get to it from
So what would you say for somebody who doesn't understand this stuff, of like how they could avoid knowing that this is like complete BS?
It's that easy. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. That's like, it's the old adage, right? It's the old adage of everything. Like, and even if it does feel too good to be true, feel your way through it as well. Like, ask yourself questions like, does that computer exist? Is it just a render yet? Is this just somebody's grand idea? Is it a good idea? Absolutely, it is a good idea. But that doesn't mean it exists.
And also, especially like for hunters, if you guys are looking at something and you're not sure about it, take a look at how much they've raised and how much time they have left. Like, if these guys want $750,000 and they've raised $1,000 with 2 months left, like, there's kind of this people have spoken in a sense about how they feel about it already.
Also, I'll give you a big thing as well on this, is at the very bottom, it gives you a breakdown of their roadmap, but nowhere it gives you a breakdown of how that money's going to be used. Right? That's a huge red flag, because basically somebody has sat there and gone, how much do you think we need to build this then, Fred? I don't know, $750,000. And that's what they've done.
The roadmap is in the shape of a maze. Like, even that is just like, how they say the most like efficient point from A to B is a straight line? This is like a squiggly nonsense maze thing.
Yeah.
Oh, triggered.
Yeah, and I don't believe any of that SkyGrid team actually works for this company.
Right.
I don't believe any of that.
Cool name. I mean, if you
cross-reference
a gaming company, you'd call it SkyGrid.
SkyGrid sounds great. SkyGrid Solutions. Yeah, I mean, it sounds LED good, lights. But there's just not enough there for me. Like, do they have the concept built? Is it working? Is it your own cloud? Have you invented the cloud from the start, or are you going to be using a lot of these people? They come up with these ideas and they end up like putting it onto Amazon server. I
want to throw you. I want to throw you into these guys' office, similarly to the way I would throw that fire distinguishing bomb into this thing, and you just blast in with all of your questions. Like, hold up, where does this money come from? And who's going to do your hosting? And what is this mouse made of?
I tell you what, it'd be a great live stream, because you'd have all these people in the Twitch channel going, there, gotcha. It'd be literally like this scammer calls.
It's like getting swatted.
Live analog. Yeah.
Well, I think that was
all right. What was your bad?
That was educational. I think that there's a lot to learn from that one. Yeah. So that was a really good one.
We got some good out of the bad. We got some good.
Mine's just bad. You ain't gonna find anything redeemable here, folks. Mine is called Godefa. Listen, I wish I would go defa and go blinda when I saw this, because it's that bad. That joke was,
I'm legally blind.
This is called this is the full name. The Godefa cell phone camera lens 12x zoom telephoto universal clip-on lens kit for iPhone 7, 6S, 6 Plus, 5, 4, Samsung, Android, and other phones. So right off the bat, we're like, okay, we got the SEO. Fine. We understand. You got to get your SEO in there. This is a clip-on... It's like a clip-on telephoto lens.
We're about to be attacked by lots of geese, by the way. A squad's coming. Can you hear this? Wow. Wow, live on podcast.
It's so weird. Hearing that
shit.
3,000 miles
That was a
away
squad.
sounds like you were getting attacked by a bunch of like creaky doors. Like,
That was a squad.
they're
right
getting
there.
out of here. They're like, it's winter. We out.
Yeah, they're done.
So this thing is just basically this ridiculous lens for your phone. It's got this huge clip that looks more like a clamp of like something you'd use for like professional lighting setups. And the size of this thing is like, it's basically like just strapping a telescope to the end of your phone. So hold your phone in your hand and then just think about just strapping a telescope to the end of it. How practical is that? Are you gonna haul that around with you on your like vacation? Are you gonna try to jam this thing in your pocket when you like sit down and get a cup of coffee? Like, what is this? Why is this? It's gigantic. It's not practical. It's $9, reduced from $11 full price. So even at $11, like what kind of glass is going to be in this thing that's going to help you take amazing pictures? And it's just something that just aesthetically looks just so, it just is nonsense. It's a nonsense product. Like this creates more problems than it solves for me in my daily life. And it makes me angry and it's ugly. And I have a lot of problems. With it.
My big power tip for those kind of things is if you see in the text makes your phone into a DSLR, run away. Because there is nothing in the universe that makes something into something else, right? When you look at a camera, it has a big lens on the front of a DSLR. Right. Like, look at your camera. It's a small lens. What you're putting on the end of it is a barrel of a small lens. You're not turning it into a DSLR. Right. It doesn't do that. Right. Also, you can tell how bad the glass is because around the edges of the glass, when you take a shot, you'll have a thing called fringing. It takes many generations and years to build machinery to smooth glass into such a way. I've been to Nokia's HQ and saw how they came up with their own dark paint that doesn't let any light in, which is what they use to paint inside the actual lens, inside the casing of the lens. And I've actually even seen a satellite being built with 7 panels of glass.
You don't think this has that? You don't think?
Not for $9. Not for $9. I got to be honest, for $9, I'm pretty sure nobody's really looking at the glass situation.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure somebody's using a little Stanley knife and getting a little slither of plastic and sticking it in the end there. And
it's so
just
terrible.
because you put a barrel on it, it's not going to make it a telephoto.
So
lens.
Terrible. Just hold your phone up, buy a nice pair of binoculars and hold your phone up next to it. Just do that. At least then you'll have a pair of binoculars. Like, there's no reason.
But again, people do it because they read something. They read something and go, "Wow, look at that shot," and then they don't care about the knowledge of using the device. It's why we get so much work on Upwork from people. And this is not to diss people. It's just like they see other people doing it. They buy £5,000 worth of kit, and then it's like, oh shit, I don't know how to operate any of this. So people go, oh, telephoto. I've seen telephoto. I know what telephoto does. Telephoto gives you really good pictures. Oh my God, there's a $9 telephoto lens here for the iPhone. I can totally take shots like that telephoto photo I saw on the internet the other day.
Right.
And then they stick it on there, and not only do you not get any telephoto lens quality pictures, you also lose friends, dates, relationships walk away. Like, you have that on the end of your phone, it's game over for you.
The tagline of this company is, we make memories. And yes, you are going to have some memories if you buy this thing. Let me just say this real quick.
Memories.
You're going to strap this $9 thing onto your $600 iPhone? Are you mad? Like, please be careful when you buy cases, any accessory that's supposed to be on your phone. If you have an expensive phone, like if you scratch the lens on the physical actual part of your phone, or if something breaks or snaps, like what are we doing? Are we putting like inflatable tires on a Mercedes? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to actually damage your actual device. So like, please don't. Just, if you really want a telephoto camera, sell your iPhone and just buy a DSLR. Please don't just strap this thing onto it. It's like so triggered.
For sure. I mean, where are we in life if we're discounting something that's $11 to $9? I mean,
This
come
is
on,
so much-
Pam.
I can't.
Come
This is the point where I have to walk away and take a mod break because I'm like, I just have a
And
breakdown.
if you come back to me as a comment and say, but it's a design innovation because of the clip, I probably will chase you down to the end of time.
Yeah.
And make you set up a Snapchat account where you just solely take photos with this thing, so that people can send you comments back about how good.
That's what happens when mods go to purgatory or mods go to hell. We have to like use all of these things that we hate till the end of time.
Oh, can you imagine?
That's what it is.
That would
be the divine justice. So
we might have to stop doing shows then if that's the case. All right, we're up to an hour then, so I guess we should close this bad boy out and get back to real life.
Yeah, I actually have some modding and I have everything to do.
You have life to do.
Yeah.
All right.
But thank you for listening, everybody.
Right,
we appreciate you being here, and hopefully next week we'll have some little guest participation.
Yeah.
Yay. Bye. Thanks for spending time with us today. Subscribe with Pocket Casts and get notified right away.
And if you use Anchor FM, feel free to call in and leave us a message. We try and reply in our next cast.
If you'd like to support the podcast, you can go to anchor.fm/productsense.
And if you'd like to hang out with us on Discord, there's a link on that page as well. We'll speak to you soon.